Hi there! Today we're making vegan sweet plantain empanadas with sweet peppers and red onions. So to start with these empanadas, we are going to prepare our own dough using sweet plantains. This is a ripe plantain, and you can tell because it's starting to yellow. It has a little bit of green and a little bit of black on the edges, and this is exactly where we want them for this dough. So we want them to be this shade of yellow. We are going to cut the edges off, cut the plantain in thirds, and we're going to just boil them with the peel on until we see a change in color of this part of the plantain, of the actual plantain. We want to see them turn a peachy yellowish color, and it usually takes about 10 minutes. While our plantains for the dough are preparing, we are going to work on the filling. The filling is really simple and really colorful and vibrant and flavorful. So we're using mini sweet peppers. I'm just going to cut them in rounds, a very simple cut. These are super quick and easy empanadas. They're loved by everyone. They're super sweet and a little bit savory. There's nothing spicy to them within the empanada or in the dough. It's just a very sweet and savory combination, and because they're fried, they have a really nice golden crispy color and texture. And then we're going to pair it with a really bright cilantro mint chutney that is going to complement the empanada really well. I often make these empanadas for parties. They're a great food, any occasion that doesn't need to, people can just pick one up and eat it while standing. It's a great cocktail hour food or appetizer. So using a baking sheet, I'm going to drizzle a little bit of olive oil. And then I'm going to bring in my sweet peppers, make sure they get all coated in the olive oil. The red onion is sweet and also provides a beautiful color contrast to the red and the orange that we already have in our palette. And for the onion, I'm actually going to slice it in pretty thin, long slices. Okay, so I've got my red onion and my sweet peppers. I'm going to add the rest of this olive oil just to make sure everything is nice and coated. I'm also going to add a little pinch of Himalayan pink salt. Okay, now we're going to take this to the broiler and we're going to broil it for 8 minutes. So the next thing we're going to do while we're waiting for our filling and our plantains to be done cooking is the cilantro and mint chutney that goes with the empanadas. It's a beautiful pairing and the color is going to be so vibrant and green. We're going to use one bunch of cilantro, and we're actually going to include the stems as well since they're very flavorful. So we're going to just cut the very edge and can just chop it in half. So we're going to put in our cilantro. The next thing that we're going to add is mint. So we're going to use fresh mint here, and we're not going to use the stems. We're only going to use the leaves. I feel like mint was one of the very first plants that I discovered outside. As a kid, I would go outside in the backyard and just pick up different plants, and I was just like, wow, that's a familiar taste. I want to just keep touching this and eating it. I just thought it was so magical that it grew outside. I only related it to chewing gum and toothpaste. I'm also going to start with half of a jalapeno pepper. seeds and all. I just took off the stem. And I'm also going to add the juice of 1 lemon. I have my handy juicer, which actually attaches to a mason jar, so these are really great. And they also work in a bowl like this. So I'm just gonna juice my lemon. It's gonna bring in a nice acidic flavor to this sauce. I'm also going to add some ginger, just fresh ginger that I'm peeling. We're going to add a generous pinch of salt. We might want to add a tiny bit of water. And we're going to press go. Okay, and then one of the last, or maybe the last ingredient, is a little pinch of cumin. Okay, I think our sauce is completely blended now. And look at the color, it's so vibrant and green. So we've got the sauce, now we just need the empanadas. Let's check on our roasting veggies, or our broiling veggies. I think they're ready. So I have my veggies, they roasted up beautifully. They're still very bright. This is exactly what I wanted. So I'm going to put this in a bowl, and the only step left to do is process the dough. So our plantains have been cooking, and you'll see that the color of the plantain has turned to a more yellowy hue than what it was when we started. So we're going to just take these out of the water, and we're going to put them in the food processor with a little bit of white rice flour. I'm going to do that for each one, just taking the skin off. It's a little bit hot at the moment, so I'm kind of handling it with some care. Okay, that's our last one. We're going to add 1/3 cup of white rice flour. I've tried it with sweet rice flour. It's a little bit too sticky. Brown rice flour. The taste is a lot better with white rice flour. So that's the conclusion that I've come to in this empanada experiment. And we're gonna add a nice generous sprinkle or two of Himalayan pink salt. Put our lid back on and great. Looks like we have a nice ball of dough to work with. We want it to be able to move it around without having it like coat your hands or stick to your hands. So this is going to be great for our empanadas. So this is ready to go. I'm going to give it a little taste just to make sure it's good on the salt. It's perfect. And what I have here is a tortilla press. So it's just a thing that allows me to flatten a ball of dough. Now, if you don't have a tortilla press, don't worry. You could also use the bottom of a flat pan or a plate. All you need to do is make a ball about the size of a golf ball. And I use a plastic bag that I cut so that it opens up on all sides except one. And that just lets me flatten it without it sticking. So I flatten it, and then that's it. I lift up the piece of plastic, and now all I have to do is put my filling in. So now that I've made two, I'm going to fry these in sunflower oil. I'm going to put them down gently, and what I'm looking for is I want them to get crispy and they're gonna turn an even brighter yellow. So since we cooked them in the water, we boiled them, they turned brighter yellow from how they started as raw plantains, and now that we're frying them, they're gonna be even more bright. So our empanadas are looking like they're wanting to be turned over. They've got a great color. They're perfect. I wouldn't go any darker than this, but this is actually like where we want it to be. It's nice and crispy. You can hear the crispness. That's what we want. My plantain empanada is so delicious looking. It's golden, it's crisp, it's the perfect shade, and the perfect shape, and the perfect size. I'm so hungry and I cannot wait to take a bite of this. I'm going to put on a generous dollop of my cilantro and mint chutney. Such a beautiful color combination and contrast, and I know the flavors are going to be so wonderful together. These plantain empanadas never fail. They're so satisfying and so delicious. I hope you enjoy them.